Microbrand of 2025, Noctua, the Sinn killer. Let's check it out. What is going on? Welcome to this hobby of ours. I am your hostie, and on deck, on wrist, in hand is Noctua watches. Gosh, I have been somewhat flippantly calling this a Sinn killer for many moons now because I am so impressed by it. Shout out to JP, major shout out to JP from Noctua Watches for loading this into the channel so I could get it on wrist, on deck, and under scrutiny. I am absolutely so impressed by this piece. It's a watch that you really need to take note of, especially if you are in the zone, if you're in the realm of wanting a Sinn-like watch, such as this, but you don't want to pay Sinn prices. You no longer have to. JP went and made you one at roughly a fourth of the price. Thank you, my good sir. Love this piece. We're going to see it on deck in just a moment. But dang, I very rarely, look, I talk to myself all of the time, but rarely on camera when I'm doing an unboxing. I was so excited by this piece when I was unboxing it that I began talking to myself during the unboxing. So utterly impressed. And yes, there will be a watch wars to be coming between these two, and maybe even a watch wars between this and the Seiko Spork. This is unabashedly taking some design language cues from the German maker Sinn and German watchmaking in general. And there's no apologies required. This iteration is so good. Plus, looking at the case back and this unusually great strap changing system. It's nothing they invented per se, but it's something he's leveraged in his design language application and availability for the watches that I am just so impressed by. Without further ado, let's get her on wrist. Certainly Sinn killer is a bold statement, and with my very own Sinn within earshot, all the more so. But stay tuned for the watch wars for that. On deck, major shout out to JP for loaning this in. JP is the owner of Noctua Watches. We became acquainted on the TGV Urban Gentry live stream, and once I got a look at his watches, I was like, hey, can I borrow some watches? He's like, oh yeah, you can totally borrow some watches. These are assembled by him in Canada from parts sourced. The bracelet is an add-on expense. I am wearing my dive gloves today because this is at 300 meters a proper dive watch, even though it does have that spork-like vibe and certainly a pilot aesthetic. So impressed during the unboxing. I love Molly gear. In case you're not familiar, it's military gear. These pouches are meant to go onto a vest or a backpack of some form, and easily the most valuable, worthwhile packaging system I've seen come by in a long time. I certainly have a bunch of boxes in a box in storage, watch boxes in a box that I can't use, but I could put this into use. And also somewhat fun is this, I want to call this a placard. It's rigid, and so the watch strap goes around this in here, sits in there. Also brilliant, and well done, JP. So well done, in fact, I'm considering adding box to the Watch Wars criteria. It's just, I hesitate to do it because so few manufacturers bother to put any real thought into the box they use to put their stuff in. Like, it might be fancy and wood and big, but no one's using it, right? I could make use of this. Vertex is another brand that does a great job with their boxes. They have like a Pelican style, so very impressed with that. But getting into the meat and the potatoes, I was some weird crash outside. Anywho, absolutely really enjoying loving this watch. I'm JP, I'm sorry, I'm holding on to it probably longer than I thought I was going to, but I want to do a bunch of videos with it. I'm going to war this watch versus the Sinn 657. I'm going to war it against the Seiko Spork, see how she does. And I'm just very impressed with it, my friend. Very impressed indeed. Real quick, so when you buy the watch, you obviously get this, you get this, you get the watch on your choice of strap, black or green. And then this bracelet is an add-on. As of this video, this is running about 500 USD-ish. And this is running about 100, 108 USD-ish. There are conversions, being that he's based in Canada versus USD, but that's the price as is current as of today. And we'll certainly put this on the wrist. I'll ditch the gloves in a minute. The gloves are always a fun gimmick. So we're looking at a diameter of 42.5. And that sounds very large, and it can be very large, but this is going to wear very politely on my 6.5-inch wrist due to the wonderfully good lug to lug of 45.7. And you see that is very polite. We're also looking at a very nice bead blasted case. And, you know, a height of 12.7, not bad at all. And thankfully, mercifully, 22 millimeters at the strap lug width and not an UGG width. So no 21s in JP's house. Let's keep it that way if we can, JP, sir. Love it. And as I mentioned earlier, 300 meters of water resistance, unidirectional bezel that looms up rather nicely. In fact, let's see a loom shot real quick here, D. Like a fire, and it's so nice to see that insert is also loom itself. This is their reference number PD-1, that's Papa Delta-1, and using sapphire crystal. We've got a Seiko NH35 workhorse movement on the inside. Date window is at 4:30-ish, as is usual. 38 hours from that. And I weighed this on its bracelet, mostly because I wanted that to be relevant for the watch wars that I'll be shooting right after this video. So coming in at 169 grams for the weight. And as I mentioned earlier, cost $502 with the add-on bracelet, running about $610. And I have to say, really rather enjoying it. I was so impressed at their ability to deliver what I call a Sinn-like watch, if not a Sinn killer, at a much more attractive price point than the Sinn. For instance, my Sinn, and we'll go into this into the wars, you know, you can't get these new any longer, but, you know, pre-owned, somewhere usually between $2,000 and $2,500. Mine's beat up, as you can tell. It's got some scrapes. She's had a life, so I got this closer to $1,100, $1,200, somewhere thereabouts. But the question becomes, if I was in the market for that watch and I knew that this was available, would I bother chasing the Sinn? It's a hard one for me to discern. I love me some Sinn, but this is delivering so much value for that price point that would I bother? Would I bother chasing the Sinn? I don't know that I would if I really wanted this aesthetic, which, let's be honest, this is a spork, and it is unabashedly taking its design cues from the German watchmaking principles, and chiefly the Sinn look-alike, for the lack of a better term. I'm really excited to see how this one will perform versus the Seiko. The Seiko Spork, I'll insert a shot of that over to the right. I think it's going to be a little more competitive versus that one than necessarily the Sinn, but I think it's going to give Sinn a run for its money. But again, we shall save that until we get to the watch wars. I was talking with JP. He was thinking about maybe getting a logo on the crown. I love that idea, although this is a military-inspired watch, and he does have his logo on the back there. I think that, you know, for a micro brand, that's certainly fine. I would love to see him get that as an engraving or, you know, a raised relief of that Noctua logo, because it's a cool logo. But you know, that will come in time. As you know, I neglected to ask JP how long he's been doing this for. I should have asked him how many years in business. But you know, when you're in the microbrand space, sometimes it will take you a little while before you get to those little final finishing touches. I do have to say that the bezel, let's see what, I can't put it up to, I'm bringing it closer to the screen and the lens, thinking the mic is there. Let's see, the mic's over here. Little ASMR for you, but a well-performing bezel. And just utterly impressed. I think one of the other things that impressed me is this strap system. Now this is not something he invented. He sourced these straps, but these come off of the rubber straps. They're so soft and supple. And they've got that double layering thing here for strength, which is super cool. But it has this single button, I almost said deployment, but release. It's not a deployment, it's like a release system. So if you had a handful of colors, certainly, if you're getting this watch, buy the extra strap. I don't know that he's offering these as extra straps yet. I was encouraging him to do so. And maybe after this video, if a bunch of viewers run to the store and ask for it, maybe he'll do it. I mean, why not? They're really great straps. I would almost buy a grip of these for use on other watches. This is 22 millimeters. I would certainly need it in 20 for, you know, a lot of my needs. But considering its size profile, 22 is generally reserved for larger watches, but this doesn't wear like a larger watch. It doesn't wear like a larger watch. In fact, let's put it on wrist and see what I'm talking about. And ba-bam. On my 6.5 inch wrist. See what I was talking about? Even though it's 42.5 across the diameter, because of the lug to lug, it's not, you know, it's not flying off the ends of my wrist. It fits rather well, and I just adore this strap. I have a strap similar to this on one of my other watches, and it's just so soft and supple, and it wears beautifully. And I think this is a watch that, you know, I usually keep my Counticom Maritac at the front door as my stuff hits the fan watch, but I think this one could fill that duty just as well. 300 meters of water resistance, epically legible in light and dark. It's got that spork type dial with those Arabic numbers and those big sword-like hands. I'm just incredibly impressed by it, JP. I'm so grateful that you were willing to send this in to me so I could spend some time with your creation here. I'm hoping to also get my hands on your GMT watch that is got some of this language, but also with a GMT bezel. And I'm just excited to try it out and to share this watch and your brand with the viewership. All right, let's take it back to the studio. Ba-bam, Noctua. Microbrand of 2025. Look out, here they come. Noctua Sinn. They are coming for you. They want to eat your lunch. Noctua wants to drink your milkshake. But to be fair, they deserve to. A fourth of the price and epic good quality. I want to say thank you so much to JP for loaning this into me. JP, I cannot wait to borrow your GMT. Just super excited to explore the watches you've made and to share them with the audience. Why not? That's what we do here in this hobby of ours. We talk about watches and we share it with our buddies, right? And why not share something wonderful? There's a tremendous amount of value per price point on this watch, being that it is definitely inspired by the Germans. But you know what? Taking it to another level with the quality and frankly the price point, to be blunt. Epically good, assembled in Canada, and you know, it just astounds me how much variety is out there in the watch world. And when you encounter something that's high quality and frankly low cost, wow, how wonderful a world it is, and so happy to share it with you. So, hope that you enjoyed this episode and that you will also stay tuned for the future Watch Wars episodes as I put this Noctua watch up against the Sinn and probably also up against the Seiko Spork to see how she does. I'm rooting for her to win, but you know what? We are objective as always. And just excited to do it. I love doing a proper watch wars. It's a good bit of fun. Hope that wherever you are in this wonderful, beautiful hobby of ours, that you're doing well and that you're blessed. We will catch you in the next one. Peace. If you'd like to support the channel, head over to hobbyofhours.com. We've got artwork, coffee mugs, hats, t-shirts, and even a watch book. 1001 Watch Designs, Volume 1. Over 1,000 designs in here. Steampunk, super futuristic, kaleidoscope, even super real ones. Watches that you could probably put on your wrist today. It's a great way to support the channel. Thanks for coming along on the ride.